Your grandfather worked 14-hour days in a field and died with nothing. Hard work alone has never been the variable. And the fact that nobody told you this, in school, at home, by your mentors, is one of the most expensive silences in human history, because right now, you might be working harder than you've ever worked, and still falling behind. This video is about why, and more importantly, to you what actually separates outcomes in life. There are 5 variables, 5 things the wealthiest, most successful people in history leveraged while everyone else kept their head down and grinded. Most people will never hear about all 5 in the same place. By the end of this, you will. And I promise you, at least 2 of them will make you question everything you've been told. The first variable is leverage, and it's the one that separates a person who earns $500 a day from a person who earns $50,000 a day, despite working the same hours. Archimedes said, "Give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world." He wasn't talking about philosophy, he was describing the only real economic truth that matters. There are 4 types of leverage available to humans today: the labor, capital, media, and code. Your grandfather had access to exactly one, his own labor, which means his income had a ceiling, his body. The moment he stopped working, the money stopped. But here's the brutal part. The people getting rich around him weren't working harder. They owned the lever. Now you might say, I don't have capital, I can't afford to invest. But here's the reality check. Media and code are the first leverages in human history that are available to anyone with a phone and an internet connection. Every video you don't make, every product you don't build, every skill you don't code is a lever you're choosing not to pick up. Hard work without leverage is a treadmill. You move, but you don't go anywhere. But leverage alone doesn't explain everything, because there are people who had every advantage, capital, connections, media, and still failed spectacularly. The second variable is the one almost nobody talks about because it makes us deeply uncomfortable. Timing. Bill Gates was born in 1955. That's not a fun fact, that's the entire story. He turned 20 in 1975, the exact year personal computers were becoming accessible. He was the right age with the right skills at the right moment in history. Malcolm Gladwell documented this. He found that a disproportionate number of the most successful tech billionaires were born within a few years of each other, not because of talent, because of timing. Now here's where this gets dangerous as a concept, because some people hear timing matters and they use it as an excuse. I missed crypto, I missed AI, I was born at the wrong time. That is the wrong takeaway. The correct takeaway is this: every era has its wave. The question is whether you're watching from the shore or paddling out to meet it. What is the wave right now? AI, automation, creator economy, short-form media. These waves are not cresting, they are forming. You are not late, but you will be. Leverage and timing explain a lot, but they still don't explain why 2 people, same city, same moment in history, same opportunities, end up in completely different places. For that, we need to talk about the variable that operates entirely in the dark. Your network is your net worth. You've heard that. It sounds like a LinkedIn motivational post, but there's actual science underneath it. In 1973, sociologist Mark Granovetter published a study called The Strength of Weak Ties. His finding was counterintuitive and disturbing. The people most responsible for your career breakthrough, your next opportunity, your next investor, are not your close friends. They are your acquaintances, people you barely know, because your close friends exist inside your information bubble. Your weak ties exist in different bubbles, and they bring you information you would never encounter otherwise. This is why two equally talented people have radically different outcomes. One is inside a network that recirculates the same opportunities, the same knowledge, the same ceiling. The other stumbled into, or deliberately cultivated, a network that opened doors they didn't even know existed. Hard work keeps you busy inside your current network. The right network changes what's possible. 3 variables down, 2 left. And these last 2 are the ones that will generate the most debate, because one of them sounds like an excuse and the other sounds like a cliché. But when you see the data, you won't be able to unsee it. Luck is real, and pretending otherwise is one of the most dishonest things the success industry does. In 2018, researchers at the University of Catania ran a computer simulation of 1,000 people over 40 years, assigning them random starting talent levels and random luck events. Their finding, the most successful individuals at the end were almost never the most talented. They were the ones who received the most lucky breaks and were prepared enough to capitalize on them. The most talented people, frequently mid-table, because talent without a lucky entry point rarely gets seen. So what do you do with that? Seneca said it 2,000 years ago. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. You cannot manufacture luck, but you can increase your surface area for it. More attempts, more visibility, more relationships, more skill, so that when the break comes, you're ready to catch it instead of watching it go by. The people who say luck had nothing to do with their success are either lying or they didn't notice the door that happened to be open. The final variable is the one people most misuse: smart work. Not a replacement for hard work, a multiplier of it. Here's what smart work actually means in practice. It means asking one question before you start any task. Is this the highest leverage activity I could be doing right now? Naval Ravikant calls it specific knowledge skills, so unique and rare that they cannot be replicated or outsourced. If your skills can be taught in a training video, they will eventually be commoditized. If your output is unique, based on your specific combinations of experience, insight, and creativity, it scales. Hard work scales linearly. Smart work, applied to specific, leveraged, timely problems, compounds. So here's the uncomfortable summary. Your grandfather wasn't less intelligent than the people who owned the land he worked. He wasn't lazier. He wasn't less worthy. He just had no access to leverage, no network that opened different doors, no information about timing, and no one teaching him that effort without direction is just expensive motion. The system wasn't designed to hand him those variables. That's not a conspiracy, and it's just the way power has always organized itself. But here's the difference between his generation and yours. Those 5 variables are now more accessible than they've ever been in human history. The question isn't whether you can access them. The question is whether you're paying attention. 5 variables: leverage, owning the mechanism, not just operating it; timing, finding the wave before it peaks; network effects, cultivating weak ties, not just deep ones; luck, expanding the surface area through action and visibility; and smart work, applying effort where it compounds, not just where it feels productive. Now, here's the thing we didn't cover. Even if you understand all 5 of these variables, there's one psychological pattern that will silently stop you from using any of them. It's the reason most people who learn this still don't change. I break that down in the next video. It's probably the most important thing I've made